Good morning and welcome. I'm Jesse Ramday with headline news here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. Government says all environmental and regulatory concerns surrounding proposed artificial intelligence data centers in Trinidad and Tobago will be addressed before any project moves ahead. Public Administration and Artificial Intelligence Minister Dominic Smith says the agreements signed with two U.S. companies are only memoranda of understanding and not final approvals, stressing that any development will undergo technical, environmental and regulatory assessments. While UAE environmental specialist Dr. Ronald Rupnarang says the projects are technically feasible if proper studies are conducted. AI governance consultant Rishi Maraj is calling for stronger data protection and cybersecurity legislation.
You need to ensure that all the checks and balances are put in place. You've mentioned the environmental impact. So we need to ensure that the EMA and the environmental impact assessments are done and put in place to be able to mitigate against any environmental impact this can have. And consultation is put in place regarding the development of this data center.
The People's National Movement is slamming the government for its probe into Balize House, calling it a distraction on steroids. The phrase was used by former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley in a post on social media. Dr. Rowley claimed the government was attempting to shift public attention away from what he called failures in addressing the country's economic and social challenges. Stuart Young also described the situation as a dangerous moment for democracy, claiming citizens are becoming afraid to speak out against what he called government overreach, intimidation and victimization. PNM Chairman Marvin Gonzalez also used the controversy to renew the party's call for campaign finance reform, challenging the government to support legislation in Parliament. The comments come after reports that police obtained a court approval to investigate the financing of the multi-million-dollar redevelopment of Balize House. The PNM has denied wrongdoing and says it is prepared to comply with any lawful process. And even as government made a multi-billion-dollar withdrawal from the Heritage and Stabilization Fund, it's still reporting positive returns. New reports from the fund show government withdrew US $510.78 million, or about TT $3.47 billion over a 6-month period. The reports covering July to September and October to December 2025 were released yesterday. Despite the withdrawals, the fund remained profitable in both quarters, recording returns of 4.5% in the first quarter and 2.69% in the second. However, the reports show the fund's investments remained outside its approved targets. By the end of December, short-term fixed income investments stood at 13.86%, below the 25% target, while U.S. equities reached 28.30%, above the 17.50% target. Economist Dr. Marlene Atz says Budget 2027 will be the key opportunity for the government to fully disclose how the borrowed funds and withdrawals from the HSF are being used. Well, stay tuned for another news update at the top of the hour and for comprehensive coverage in our midday news and a major newscast at 7 p.m. on CNC3.
Hey, good Monday morning, Trinidad and Tobago. It's a wet one, and as always, we keep the conversations, especially on a Monday, we wax warm. There is lots to discuss, some of the developments over the weekend, and I would say inside the last hour, well, I'll take a little lighter approach to it, where we bring in a poet from Japan. Yes, that's going to be a tremendous conversation there, but we're going to treat with some of what's happening and that whole continued debate of campaign finance reform and really the finances as it relates to political parties. I know there is a big development as it pertains to Balize House. We will treat with that and other developing stories on this wet Monday morning. Jason Williams signing on. We say welcome. It's your morning brew. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Yes. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning. Nothing is off the table on this Monday morning. We normally get the first day of the week started with the talking points of the last weekend. Coming into the week, this new week, today being a wet Monday, Monday the 13th of July 2026. Officially the start of the vacation for the students. We should get an ease up for the next couple of weeks. Obviously, many will be going to their little vacation camp, but it's not going to be as hectic like how it would be on a regular basis when school is in full motion. We should get back to that full momentum traffic come September. So from now, rest of July, for most of August, the roads should not be as hectic. But we still urge everyone, and I also remind myself, to be careful, safe travel on the gravel, pace ourselves, especially when it's wet. Let's see what's happening. Front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian on this Monday morning. Central businessman challenges detention. Court grants him leave to contest SOE order 3 months after cops raided property allegedly used as brothel. A matter of fact, from what I'm seeing on page 5, this businessman was actually supposed to be out already. The time elapsed, time passed, and from what we're seeing here, he's going to challenge the whole situation. Now, there was actually a PDO review tribunal that recommended his release, but he was still inside. So he would have been granted leave, as mentioned here, to contest the SOE order 3 months after the cops raided property, alleged that, well, at least the allegation is that the property we're seeing there, based on the story, was used as a brothel. No need to explain what happens in a brothel. We all understand. That story here develops, and that allegation, and obviously a man looking to clear his name, it's here on page 5. I'm also seeing a man was shot, a laborer, shot outside a Laramie bar. The man was only 32. Again, we don't know the details of this particular shooting, but every death by violence or any unnatural circumstance, we extend condolences, because this will put the family into a tailspin. 1 minute a man is up, healthy and strong. Next minute you're hearing reports, you get a phone call that he is no more, and he's no more via bullets. It's one that takes any family that had to treat with this into a full tailspin, and preparations for a funeral that no one ever expected or was planning. It's not like the person wasn't well and you're kind of, you're anticipating. Even though when that day comes around, you're still, especially for those who are not well, even when the day comes around, the sting of death still, breaks the heart. But when it's somebody who is young, strong, vibrant, and they die under such circumstance. And the sad thing is, we have had too many a family having to treat with that and having to go through that nightmare in this small twin island state, Trinidad and Tobago. So again, that story develops here on page 5. Most unfortunate circumstance there. In Laramie, good day to fish. That's another, well, at least a feel-good story on the front page, where a group of fishermen cast their lines, yes, Gulf of Paria. I hear the Gulf holing, especially the North Coast. I spoke to someone who went to the North Coast recently. They say the North Coast holing, you have to obviously, be ready for rough waters. But at least based on my conversation with fishermen within recent time, apparently out there, people holing, they're holing a good catch. If it's different, somebody could obviously, if your experience is different, you could chime in when we open the lines. We're going to treat with campaign finance reform and the whole issue of monies and political parties and how they're able to finance their home, their headquarters, the actual election campaign. And this is one I hope, based on the current conversation with Bally's House, that all parties, all putting themselves up for governance of this twin island state, will be transparent and accountable in that regard. What's good for the goose must be good for the gander. And this is one that we, at least for me, I'm looking at holistically for everyone putting their foot into that political ring. We have seen it before, reports of who house and how much money. And well, this time it's not a personal residence. We're hearing big investigation, or at least they're going to open one on Balize House, which is the headquarters of the People's National Movement. But Indira Rampersad, political scientists, will come in as we treat, as mentioned, because we're going to address this head on: campaign, finance reform, wealth declaration, and just the whole political landscape and political mood. So that conversation is going to happen here inside hour number one, right behind, or after at least, the boss report with Sarud. Let's see what's happening on the back page. And yes, it's Argentina marching on to the semifinals. I know my producer Nakisha, jubilant, extremely happy. I knew it was going to be a tall order for Switzerland, even though they showed a really good face. I guess the whole game changed after the red card. And I just find Argentina marching forward in this tournament is without controversy. There's always a caveat. They win, but there's always some decision being made, the referee's intervention, some call that didn't make, in this case a red card. But I feel it's going to be, listen, I can't say all come crashing to an end, because England on a given day could beat Argentina. Argentina on their given day could beat England. It's a rematch of the 1986 semis when Maradona scored the famous hand of God, and then he scored what is considered arguably the greatest World Cup goal ever, running through half of the England team from the half line and busting the net, sliding to beat England back then in Mexico. I feel there's going to be some kind of magic. Who it's going to come from, I can't say, but that's going to be a cruncher. When Argentina and England meet, it's always one for the ages. And honestly, that's the semifinals I prefer. I think that's one that's rich with history. There's going to be some controversy inside there. There's going to be some crunching tackles. That game going to back now. Who's going to win? Well, your bet is as good as mine. I really don't know. But it's Argentina against England, and then we have the Spain-France. France versus Spain. Ooh. It's down to the business end of the tournament, and it's only going to get sweeter as we get ready for the finals on Sunday, 6 days away. All right, let's see what's happening. I've had the brief. The young ladies are stepping forward for the Miss World 2026, and the screening starts. 60th screen as the search for Miss World TNT starts, and I'm seeing the franchise holder, Sharo, there, all smiles. It happened at the Hyatt Regency in Port of Spain yesterday, and two potential candidates striking a pose. I'm seeing Annalie Cadogan and Ciara Mohammed. Beautiful smiles. You know, when it comes to Trinidad and Tobago and our women, whether they step forward in the pageant world or not, on any given day in any part of the country, could be a lady going to the parlor, could be someone going to Parliament. You see world class. Well, let me hold back on the Parliament, really, yeah. No, just, I was trying to rhyme there, but yeah, clearly. But you know what I'm talking about, just holistically, our women are, well, without a doubt, world class. And the strange thing is, the men from overseas, they come and they see and they get to know our ladies, and they marry off immediately. Either the men will come and they will stay here in Trinidad, or they will take our ladies overseas to live a whole different life. So let's treat with our women with the utmost respect and dignity and distinction that they deserve. No surprise, we have, 2 Miss Universe, 1 Miss World, and we've had some runner-up. And I mean, I'm not suggesting that's how we measure the beauty of the women of this country, but clearly there's something special to know that we could have gone on the world stage then and even now, and we are always in the conversation. So well done to the girls stepping up. And the soldiers at the top, that's from the Diego Martin Borough Corporation Parade down the Kent Valley Road. That transpired on Friday. Good morning to the borough. Diego Martin now have mayor and thing, Yes, Diego Martin step up. Good morning, Diego Martin, Pity Valley, the west side. Locked in this morning on a wet Monday. Up next, the boss report. After the boss report, Indira Rampersad steps in for the political landscape, behavior, and conversation. Up next, the boss report.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
Every day at the castle, long before we open our doors, our work begins. Our famous seasonings are mixed in advance. We select our fresh chicken parts and prep our delicious sides. Then we fire up the fryers and rotisserie oven. Everything is made with tasty local herbs, spices, and the same long-loved recipe since 1968. So, when you come in, remember that we uphold our culture and our taste. Just for you. We are your Royal Castle.
Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to Tire Clinic for the recession deals. That should big savings with our road hazard warranty on Dunlop, Tomitoma, and Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Cuba, Chaguanas, and Pleasance Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
Breaking news! Something serious is sweeping the nation. Get seriously supersized savings on textiles, home goods, and much more in Jimmy Abood's Super Serious July Sale. Shop now at Jimmy Abood in Barataria and Port of Spain.
The detergent smells nice while washing, but when you use the new Downy Intense fabric softener, with its new multi-capsule fragrance, it releases an intense scent that lasts twice as long. With the new Downy Intense, you'll enjoy a rich and delightful fragrance that keeps you feeling fresh 24/7.
From Trinidad and Tobago to Curacao, experience one of the biggest football weekends in the island's history. But beyond the excitement on the pitch, explore the people, the culture, and the atmosphere that makes Curacao so unique. This Sunday at 6:25 p.m. and catch the repeat on Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. only on CNC3.
Every Monday morning we get details regarding the big money movers and shakers. Sarud steps in with your Bourse Report next. Good morning, Sarud.
Good morning, GW, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to the Bourse Report. Well, we're at the halfway point of the year, and we're taking a look, of course, at equity markets as well as fixed income markets at this point as usual. And today we're going to focus on the local equity markets and how they would have fared in the first half of 2026. Now, for the first time in several years, the local equity markets would have actually produced positive results at the halfway mark. Let's take a look at what has been driving sentiment, performance, etc., and what investors might be able to look forward to in the coming months ahead. Turning firstly again to our first slide, in terms of performance, we can see that again after several years of negative returns in that first half performance. In the first half of 2026, most of the indices and sub-indices, well, in fact, all of them would have reported a very positive performance, with the Trinidad and Tobago Composite Index in that yellowish color up 4.4%, supported by its sub-composite indices or sub-indices. The All Trinidad and Tobago Index in that pinkish color up 4.4%, as well as the cross-listed index up 4.3%. So most of the constituent indices, or all of them in fact, would have shown broad improvement, and the Trinidad and Tobago Composite Index up also that 4.4%, in stark contrast to negative returns over the past few comparable half-year periods. Now, driving that performance for the first half of 2026 with some notable gainers. TTNGL up a whopping 307% over the first half of 2026. Of course, the big news and the big driver for NGL obviously being the resumption of dividend payments, as well as a very special $1 per share dividend, which also is now at the option of investors going forward, or investors in NGL, to be received either in TT dollars or US dollars. So that would have significantly turned investor sentiment and interest in NGL, and leading to that over 300% gain. National Enterprises Limited also up 150% on the heels of a very juicy dividend yield, retroactively as well as prospectively, as well as the prospect of or potential for higher dividends in subsequent periods, given the dislocation in energy markets and the impact that higher energy prices usually has on Nell's financial performance. Deco or PLD was also up just over 50%, as well as One Caribbean Media. And NCBFG, after languishing for quite some time, was up 37%. On the heels of not really too much in terms of sort of improved earnings. However, there seems to have been some resurgence in interest in the stock, particularly with its performance on the cross-listed market of Jamaica, which has actually been up on the Jamaican market over 80% year to date. On the other end of things, we can see that CIBC was down just about 7.2%, which is somewhat surprising given the acquisition news or pending acquisition news of CIBC Caribbean by Butterfield, which is expected to take place sometime in the first half of 2027 with the regulatory approvals coming into play. Prestige Holdings down 11%, Angostura, ES Bridens, and LGWB also down between 20 to 30% on the heels of somewhat lukewarm performance in terms of financial reporting or the most recent financial reporting. In terms of overall activity, however, we can see that accompanying that increase in valuations overall of around 4.4% was a resurgence in traded volume and value. Traded volumes over the comparable periods actually up just over 25% from just under 44 million shares in that first half period of 2025 to 55 million shares, with traded values actually improving a whopping 54% from 351 odd million in that first half of 2025 to 541 million TT dollars or TT dollar equivalent in that first half of 2026. So certainly that increase in pricing accompanied by fairly significant improvement in traded interest as well, whether you measure it by volume or value. Now, what's driving all of this performance, as we mentioned? Well, one of the major factors that is contributing has been supposedly a floor level in terms of valuations, as well as very attractive dividend yields on a relative and historical basis. When we take a look at some of the major companies that are listed on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange and their dividend yields that are on offer, we can see that investors could invest in fairly reliable securities with improving or very stable financial performance and realize a very attractive dividend yield on the equity investments, with Massey, for example, trading at a 5.1% dividend yield as we move across the spectrum. Republic Financial Holdings at a 5.6% dividend yield. Guardian Holdings at 6.1%. Some of the other banks, such as First Citizens Group, as well as Scotiabank, at a 6.6% dividend yield. And NGL, as mentioned, on the current 12-month basis at a 9.3% dividend yield. Of course, take that with a grain of salt, that is inclusive of a special dividend, and that may moderate over time. Now, when we put that into context for an investment portfolio from one end of the spectrum to the next, we can see that an investor over a 5-year period who would have invested $100,000 in terms of the income earned, and so this one goes out to the income-oriented investors in income mutual funds at 3%, for example, would earn just about $15,000 in interest. In repurchase agreements or similar fixed deposits would earn over that 5-year period just about $20,000 on a $100,000 investment. In bonds over a 5-year period, earning a return of 5% would earn just about $25,000. And of course, in that portfolio of dividend-paying equities at an average yield or dividend yield of around 6.5% would earn $32,500 in income over that 5-year period. Now, of course, unlike income funds, repos, and bonds, dividend-paying equities or equity investments do come with a measure of market risk and market fluctuations. Of course, you don't know when you're exiting whether your prices will be higher or lower. But with that turnaround, was apparent turnaround in equity valuations and that modest improvement year over year for that first period of 2026, it does provide some increased measure or enhanced degree of confidence for investors who are looking at the equity market and keeping an eye on the very attractive dividend yields that are on offer. So overall, are local stocks attractive? Well, from a valuation perspective, again, both from historical norms and relative levels, they do appear more attractive from a price earnings basis. Dividend yields certainly would be on the more attractive end of things, particularly if you are constructing a portfolio of very reliable dividend-paying stocks. Again, that could range anywhere between 6 to 6.5% based on how you construct your portfolio. Of course, many of these blue chip companies offer investors built-in diversification with diversification both in terms of industry as well as geography. So not just focused on the Trinidad and Tobago jurisdiction, but across the region. And macroeconomic conditions will continue to be somewhat tepid, but there is some degree of cautious optimism for the Trinidad and Tobago economy at this particular point in time, given recent or relatively recent energy developments. So again, overall, the stock market the local stock market rather appears to be at this particular point in time a bit more attractive, notwithstanding the usual risks that come with equity investing. So if you'd like to find out more about whether investing in the local equity is right for you, can give us a call at 226-8773 or to Boss, email us at info@bossfinancial.com. And of course, you can check out our website, bossinvestment.com, where all of our research is absolutely free. And you can catch this article on the business section of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian newspaper. So until next time, stay safe, happy investing, and we'll see you again on the Boss Report.
Hey, man. Where are you? Okay. He said 5 minutes. Anyone want dessert? Maybe he's stuck at the office? Surprise! Not yet, Carl.
Bro, I'm literally at the altar right now.
Relax. I'm almost there.
We're like the friend who isn't always late.
You have the rings.
CG United. Good like that.
Period nights don't have to look like this. Move less, wake up to change. So change for a real night's sleep with Always Overnight. Its 3 times protection system absorbs, locks the fluid, and keeps it away from your skin. For protected nights without leaks. Always.
You can make your goals unfold, go get it. You can live your dream, join the team, let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Brand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve. Big goals, small ones too. Brand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Brand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
How can you do this? You know we're already struggling and now you want to add to our problems too?
Of course you're back here.
Ma'am, please, I hope
you listen to me. I know that for someone like you, it must be a whole lot of fun to go out and get drunk. I'll ask you this one time, that if you can't respect your daughters or care enough to avoid doing things to get yourself arrested, then at least have the basic decency not to get Alejandra involved in your reckless behavior.
Don't miss the gripping drama Cabo. Sundays at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
Political scientist Indira Rampasad joins me on the Zoom line on this wet Monday morning. Indira, I want to thank you for the time. I look forward to our lively discussion on, well, at least the temperature, the climate, the political landscape, and more so that circular debate. And the reason I say circular, because we have seen this come up in the parliament, and for some reason there's always a dropping of the ball as we treat with campaign finance reform and just that transparency and accountability that comes with that conversation. Indira, great to have you. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, JW. How are you?
All is well, all is well. How are things with you? Long time?
Long time, yes, I'm fine.
Glad to hear.
Very good.
Glad to hear. Let me ask directly, we're looking at the investigation on, well, at least into the financing of Bally's House. We are seeing where the PNM are calling this development a distraction. Your take on that distraction argument, and is the government within their right to dig in to the accounts to find out how the Bally's House went from that original structure to this spanking new, well, we're seeing it on screen here. We knew what it was before and what it is now, and clearly it took significant funds and coins to get it to this particular place. Is the government within their particular right to go after the finances? And is this, in essence, a distraction? It's a really twofold loaded question. Let's go with the government's approach first.
Well, is it the government? So that's the first question. Is it the government going after, or is it the police?
Well, the police clearly are in tandem with the government at this point in time. That's we have to be living up El Tikush or down the islands to not recognize that fact.
I think that's a very, very strong statement to make, JW, as a fact. As a statement of fact, I'll be careful to make that statement because, the police is supposed to be, and I will tell you what it is supposed to be, because I don't have the evidence otherwise. It's supposed to be operating independently of the government. Yes, it falls under the Ministry of Homeland Security. I believe the minister explained also that he really wasn't involved in this. But the police is sort of an independent arm.
Well, remember the claims at Balizé House. The reason I say it is in tandem, because I mean that might have been the suspicion for years, but we are seeing where statements are being made in Parliament, and literally mere weeks or days after the statement that is made or the allegation is made is being more or less pursued by the TTPS. So one is to assume that they're in tandem. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, the fact is there is an alignment of words that's moving into action at this point in time via the TTPS.
Well, in tandem, I'd still, JW, I'd still be very hesitant because, like I said, it's a very strong allegation to make. And I don't have the facts on it. That is, yes, the statements are made in Parliament, but the police may be acting on information, and the statements are made based on information. Now, I don't have the information that they have, okay? So I am not going to confirm or deny what is happening there. So the issue, though, there is a broader concern here. And what was your second question, by the way? In terms
of the distraction here, because, the PNM's defense, they're saying, well, all this is a distraction because we should focus on the economy and stuff. But the reality is when, I remember the PNM also were going after the now Prime Minister, then opposition leaders' home. So they too were found guilty of creating this hullabaloo about somebody's residence. In this case, it was a private residence. I remember it well, so I know both sides play this particular card. But I'm trying to figure out, is this particular playing of the card at this moment a distraction based on what PNM are saying, and the focus should be on other issues like economy and crime and all of that?
Well, I think they are focusing on those other issues. So I don't think it's a distraction to start with. I think maybe they have some information. Like I said, I don't have it, so I cannot speak categorically on it, but maybe there is some information that the police think is sufficient to investigate. And I would go so far as to say investigate, because that's what it is. It's an investigation that is currently taking place. And Minister has made state his position clearly on it. Again, we have to go with what they're saying. We don't know. When I don't know, I just listen, because I just don't have the information. Well, but
we listen, Andira, but you see, the reason I would have made that statement earlier about the TTPS and the government. I go back to, let's say, the radar. I remember distinctly the commissioner, saying that yes, he welcomes this particular piece of equipment. It's going to help with crime fighting. So much so that when they found drugs in Caroni, they said this intelligence came directly from the radar. When we did deeper research, we recognized the radar is not for that purpose. So, you recognize there are lots of talking points, lots of decisions being made, and you're seeing a total alignment as it relates to statements being made by the government and the TTPS just falling in line and saying, well, yes, thumbs up, we're on board with this.
Well, again, you say they're just falling in line. I think they are finding certain evidence because they can't just go blindly. They just can't go blindly. It has to be based on some information that they have. The government probably has the same information. Maybe the government is sharing the information that they have. Maybe the police has the information. Clearly, if the police has it, the Minister of National Security is also a Minister of Government. That information would be shared with the Minister, who would share it with his cabinet colleagues. So the total alignment, JW, again, I think we have to be careful with with that here. I do not want to agree with that because I'm not sure. I don't have that information. However, I think there is a broader conversation, and this has always been my position, JW. And you and I have discussed this before.
Yes, a matter of fact, that's the last thing we were talking about. I remember when last we had a conversation.
Yeah, maybe that was our...
Yes, campaign finance and campaign reform, I remember.
Campaign finance.
I remember.
And so as a political scientist, that is where I would prefer to go, because I think the police needs to do their job. Parliament politicians will do what they have to do. They'll make their statements. They'll, statements they can make in Parliament that they can make outside.
But let me ask directly, Let me ask directly. Do you think it's because we're hearing also another phrase that's being hurled around, political prosecution, and it's and again, that is the nature of politics too. We have recognized where if there's a party in power and you're able to crush your political opponent, why not? Do it. Don't just talk it. Mash them up. So we wonder, many are wondering if that is what's happening at this point in time. And the TTPS are basically a tool to basically implement this mindset or this particular desire of political prosecution. Is that political prosecution argument holding any water at all with you, Indira Rampersad?
You in persecution, you mean, or prosecution?
Persecution. My apologies. Persecution.
Okay. No, I don't think so. I don't think this is political. I think this is just a part of the politics. This is the nature of the politics. We practice our Westminster adversarial style of governance. We have they're always at each other's throat. But like I said, they are going, if they can find something on the other, they're going to go for it. They're going to go after it. As you see, the statements are being made in the Parliament. They do enjoy, all of them, they do enjoy parliamentary privilege. Okay, so the Westminster system of governance lends itself to that adversarial style of politics. Mm-hmm. But they've always been looking, whenever, the CARICOM situation, I think it was a victory for the Prime Minister. But we see the opposition, they coming, and Dr. Rowley coming at UE lecturers for making comments. I suppose I'm included, and that's fine. And that's fine. That's what he thinks about the UE lecturers. But you all invite us for comments, and we give our comments. So if he does disagree with our opinion, then we can also disagree with his. And that is the nature of the democratic process. We have academic freedom, but I always base my comments on some level of justification. But I want to say, JW, that this will continue with respect to the financing. We always wonder where the money comes from. And in fact, I use it as a gauge to determine who will win an election. Follow the money, as they say. Follow the money. And so in the months leading up to the election, at the height of the campaign in the hustings, you look to see the extent to which money is being spent. And you can pick it up. You can pick it up from the nature of the campaign. And so you get an idea that, generally the party that is able to attract a lot of financing has an edge in winning, because then they can spend a lot more on advertisements, on billboards, on T-shirts, generally on the hustings. So resources count, financial resources count in elections. And it's a gauge that I think not only myself but other political scientists would use to determine the outcome of an election. But we look around. Let us look around the world a little bit. And this is a call that I have been making for campaign finance legislation, campaign finance reform, because that's the only way you're going to know. So the allegations are being made about Bali's house. Allegations are made about Prime Minister's house. Allegations are made about the amount of money that's being spent in advertising and during election campaigns, and where the money coming from. Is it good money? Is it bad money? My concern is bigger than this. My concern is, unless you have some legislation, and the United States does. Okay, so the United States has an act that deal with this campaign finance business. So
they call them donors in the U.S., right?
political action committees. So they have political action committees. It's transparent. It has to be published. Similarly, with Canada, they have a cap.
Yeah.
You know, they have a cap on how much you can spend, and the United States and the UK.
So no matter how big, no matter how big or how small, you will see the person's name and how much money was contributed to the
and you
to
can
the
only
campaign.
you can only give the candidate and parties. You know, and only certain people can give as well. People, they don't allow corporations to give money. They don't allow trade unions in Canada. So they're very, very strict about it. So they have a limit. They have a limit. In the UK, it's like £2,234. I think that you can give. Similarly with Canada. So you have this legislation. Now, if you have this legislation, then you will know. So you will have a good idea that, okay, so Balize House is being built by the finances of so and so. This one has contributed so much that. And it's transparent, it's open, it's allowed, it's legitimate, it's legal. So why don't we go that way? Why don't we go that way?
But in terms of the parliament, because I know this came up in the parliament before, who's dropping the ball really? Because it's not a new discussion. It would have come up for discussion. It's going to be part of the legislation conversation, I'm sure, going forward. Who really needs to champion and to drive this one home?
I was calling for this in 2007. I think when the COP was going up for election, because there were also concerns as to who's funding the COP. And people are always interested in who's funding the third party, because there are always allegations that the third party is being funded by one or two of the major parties to split the votes, right? So the third party get it as well, GW. So this is not just the two major political parties, you know, they had, this one being paid off to split the votes, that one being paid off, these small parties are being paid off to split the votes. So let's get the legislation in place. You know, with the legislation will come the transparency, and everybody will be able to see who is funding who, and everything will be above board. Because JW, the bigger concern, like I said, the outcome of all of this is the pound of flesh. Is the pound of flesh requests that come after.
Yes.
You know,
via the contracts and via all the business that's expected. Yes.
And with all the parties, let's be fair here. It's all the parties, right? Because we see people assuming positions. You know, we wonder their qualification, we wonder their experience, and you wonder, you know, how they got what they got. So it's, you know, they say politics is who get what, how, and where. You know, and this speaks directly to that. This whole financing of elections, and JW, it's millions. Sometimes it could go into $1 billion that's spent on election campaigns, campaign financing, election after election after election. Nobody knows, right? So you know, somebody can table. It's a legislative agenda. It's the Attorney General will have to, and the Attorney General of the day. Okay, so it's the Attorney General of the government of the day who will have to bring this legislation, who will have to table this legislation, right? I mean, the civil society can continue to make demands for it.
Do you anticipate we will see this being tabled anytime soon? Because it's part of the general conversation now, and I would imagine now is the best time to have the bigger conversation.
That's a difficult question to answer, given I've been asking for it for 20 years. And it didn't happen. So I don't know if it will happen, because JW, it is not in any government's interest to do so.
Hence the reason I would imagine that's why they probably would have labeled this whole shebang as a distraction, because again, you bring it up, it's in the public domain, it's part of a bigger discussion that we all agree, because I remember the last time we said the real issue here is campaign finance. You would have said then, like you said now, you've been calling for this since 2007.
I've said it.
And we're still here talking about it, spinning top in mud. So
yeah, but there was there's a whole thesis that Westmoreland were funding the COP, you know. So I don't, you know, not going to say 1% and whoever, you know, that in itself is taboo to say those words. So JW, we need to get serious, because this this legislation, this kind of legislation, which the bigger countries have brought, the United Kingdom, the United States, and Canada, has, it speaks to transparency. It speaks to integrity in public life. It speaks to democracy. Because you're sharing the information with the people. The people has a right to know, right? And ultimately, it speaks to who gets the shares in the national pie, who benefits. And yes, because the same thing would have applied to the CPEP fiasco, we would want to see that whole issue with the CPEP. That there were a lot of mismanagement of state funds. So, if the legislation is going to assist us to monitor how state funds and state resources, this is monies from a public purse, from the Treasury, how it's going to be managed. If the legislation would assist with that, then I would make another clarion call today. What date is it, JW?
Today's the 13th.
Monday the 13th, luckily July. Not Friday. Not Friday. Luckily, it's the 13th. I'm going to make another call on Monday the 13th, 2026, right, as I did in 2007, as I did, and as I've done several times in between for campaign finance legislation.
Let me ask, as we shift the gears towards political behavior, we find ourselves today, Monday the 13th, in an interesting space, and I think it's something that developed since I look back at the likes of Duterte in Philippines, his particular style when he ran. Granted, he's now facing charges for some of what he would have done to his people. We see the likes of Donald Trump in his first appearance on the stage as president, and even the second appearance, using profanities and very bizarre language. And I wonder if the politics of the day is changing, because yet again here at home we have certain junior ministers making utterances less than complimentary, going back and forth with people online. And I know the Prime Minister is one who's strategic. She is clearly seeing, and we are seeing via her action, is not the Kamala of old. This is Kamala 2.0, our Prime Minister, coming in very strong with some of her decisions and her language. I wonder at what point we might see any kind of disciplinary action, or probably not. Is this the new style of politics where our politicians could say what they want anytime and say what they want to who they want with no repercussions?
Well, I don't think that's what they're doing. I think that she has been strong. She's come across strong. She's made it clear 2.0. Yes, so there is a transformation. And I believe to some that is desirable, a strong leader, a strong prime minister, confronting the issues. When they are inappropriate, JW, I think there's a distinction. We need to make the distinction between strong and inappropriate. And I'm not sure what you're talking about, the online conversation.
Well, the likes of Philip Alexander, who is no stranger to the program. I mean, granted, he would come and sit with me and we will have very cordial conversations. And it's almost amazing to me that we have such cordial conversations and discourse on set and in person, and then he will grab the phone and say, I don't want to repeat some of what is said, what comes out of his mouth, because I might get a 2-week suspension. I speak to a national audience, and he's a junior minister, and I wonder if at any point there's any kind of conversation between the Prime Minister and the said junior minister on some of the utterances, which, when you walk the ground and talk to people, they're not feeling it. They find it's a bit over the line. It's going a bit too far. Some of the arguments, very loose.
But JW, we also had that issue with the former Prime Minister and the language he was using when he was former Prime Minister. And I don't want to say it on the set.
And he was reprimanded, He was reprimanded, I recall.
Right. So yes, one would expect a certain amount of decorum. So yes, you have to be strong. You have to be firm in your position. But you have to what's the word? Engage appropriate language. Language that is digestible to the population, because you have all kinds, JW, and sometimes as a political scientist, how we analyze that, sometimes they are speaking to their flock, which understands that language and in some respects identify that language, and that's the base, and that's the bulk of the vote. JW, that's not the middle class, that's not the educated cadre, that's not the third party group. That's the bulk, the base of the two major political parties.
And if you notice, that's why I brought up the likes of Duterte, the likes of Donald Trump, who were they were not the typical politicians, the clean cut. They speak a particular way. They were very frank, very unorthodox. And I just wonder if, based on Duterte, based on Donald Trump, and probably a couple others, we enter a new era of politics where the politician is more like a groundsman, speaking like a groundsman, with that kind of industrial and groundsman language. Are we in a new reality?
I don't think it's new. I don't think it's new. So you go back in history and you read the statements of politicians, local, Caribbean, and international, and you would see there are always politicians like that who were vocal, who didn't care how they expressed themselves, who, went over the top, as they would say. But like I said, we need to make this distinction between being strong and being firm and being inappropriate, okay? And that is where they need to draw the line. You don't want to come across as if you're a man in the street or a man in the bar who can just speak anyhow he wants. Now, keep in mind, when they are on the political platform, they speak to a base. I keep saying there is base politics here, there is race politics here, and they speak to an audience, they speak to a crowd, and they use language sometimes that they feel that the crowd and the audience will identify with. These are political strategies, JW. Language is a very, very important tool.
It is.
In political strategy.
And what you're saying is spot on, based on your experience, because yes, the hustings and the political arena, the gael, that is the political arena, I guess it calls for that. But I'm thinking we are in an age where social media is a major platform for communication. Children are looking on, adults, the elderly. Should there be some kind of guideline, at least, as it pertains to social media language by parliamentarians and sitting ministers who hold a phone to their face and say the most vile? I mean, I work in media, I work in entertainment, Indira, and there are certain things I will not say. I will not pull up my phone and say, because I studied.
I agree. There should be parameters. I totally agree that there should be parameters. And I believe that, however strong, I am a person who makes strong statements. I'm strong, I'm firm, I'm assertive. I believe that you can be strong and firm and assertive, but you need to be appropriate. You need to be, you need to carry your language with a certain amount of elegance. I believe that. Now, like I said, politics, and Mr. Pandey used to say it all the time, politics carry a morality of its own. When they are in the hustings, they do and say what they have to say in a manner, such a way that it appeals to their crowd. Okay, so Mr. Alexander also speaks to a crowd. You have to keep that in mind, JW. He had always done so, even before he was a politician. He used to be on social media very, very often, and he is speaking to a crowd who identify with that language. They identify with that language. So everything has an explanation, I'm not justifying. Keep that in mind. I'm here to explain, not to justify.
Yeah, I understand.
Everything that they say, whether, has an explanation as to why they say it. And like I said, it is not just this government officials that you see that. I've seen it throughout history. We've seen it with Dr. Rowley regularly, every time he came on the camp. He was criticized, he was reprimanded, he was chastised as well. But I think it's a strategy. It's a strategy to get what you want to say across, and across to a certain constituency, a certain group of people who will identify with it. The issue is that there is another group or groups that do not identify with it, and hence the chastisement, why they reprimand, why the criticisms. And JW, all in all, it makes for a healthy democracy. it makes for a healthy democracy. In some ways, it's a haven for political scientists because we now have to explain, not to justify, but to explain this political behavior, which is what we do.
Yeah.
And, I remember someone from Barbados, one of our professors, telling me, you all have so much excitement in your parliament. It's nothing like that in the Bajan parliament. In the Bajan parliament, it's boring. So JW, for some, it is also excitement.
Yes, I recognize.
Keep the momentum going, and you wouldn't believe how much a lot of the people lap it up.
Well.
They lap it up. And listen, you can't blame anyone for their choice of entertainment, okay?
Yeah.
You are an entertainer yourself, in a different form and fashion, and there are people who would love your style of entertainment. I do, certainly. So, we want to be broad-minded.
Well, yes, I mean it is excitement. Trust me.
Kind of entertainment.
Yes, I guess it is.
But at the same time, yes, I still would advocate for more decorum in political discourse, political language. I certainly would advocate for that.
Well, Indira, as always, sincere thanks. I guess the whole desire for us to have this different kind of politics and this different style and to rise to the occasion is probably really an illusion. I mean, you have to really be. It's almost a kind of, as we said the last time, you said you never heard the word Tegareg and Guzung Peng.
You brought a new language to the play. But JW, while I say that it is not new, it is not new in the political history of Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean, or the global arena. Trinidad does have something unique. This political pecan, and they always say that we carry things to a greater, greater length. We take everything further than everybody else. We take it further. And that's part of our political culture, It's part of our culture on the whole. We sort of, our identity as a people, as Trinbagonians, is wrapped around this whole capacity to even make fun of the most serious things, which is something unique. Some people might find it dangerous, but some people might just find it so very, very funny. It's part of our culture, and it extends to the political culture.
Indeed. Indira, all the best. We'll touch base soon. Have a great one.
You're most welcome, JW. You too have a great one. Have a good week.
Thank you so much, Indira Rampasad, touching base political scientist. We'll get a chance to open up the lines later on. And coming up after 7, I'm seeing here Professor Roger Hussain. We're going to treat with some issues regarding the monies, the finance, the economic data pack report. That is coming up after 7. See you soon.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chanka Trace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800 Trin or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800 Trin or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Welcome to Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Do enjoy, Stacey. You want some coffee?
Can I have the bill?
Perfect then.
That's exactly what we need.
Hey, the pool is this sweet.
Whatever you're here for, we're here for you.
stay smart at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice car get damaged bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Time Check, brought to you by the Central Bank and the National Financial Literacy Program.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Jesse Ramdale with headline news here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. The Office of Procurement Regulation says it never determined whether the Housing Development Corporation breached procurement law in its proposed $3.4 billion housing project. The OPR says that is because a legal challenge by NH International was filed too late. The procurement involved 11 contracts, each worth more than $100 million. The OPR had earlier suspended the process and launched an investigation, while NH International went to court claiming procurement breaches. In its written reasons, the OPR hearing panel said NH's complaints dealt with the pre-qualification stage and should have been raised before bids closed. Because that did not happen, the panel said it never reached a decision on whether HDC broke procurement rules. HDC later cancelled the procurement before any contracts were awarded. The OPR has not yet publicly released the findings of its separate investigation. In other news, even as government made a multi-billion-dollar withdrawal from the Heritage and Stabilization Fund, it's still reporting positive returns. New reports from the fund show government withdrew US $510.78 million, or about TT $3.47 billion over a 6-month period. The reports covering July to September and October to December 2025 were released yesterday. Despite the withdrawals, the fund remained profitable in both quarters, recording returns of 4.54% in the first quarter and 2.69% in the second. However, the reports show the fund's investments remained outside its approved targets. By the end of December, short-term fixed income investments stood at 13.86%, below the 25% target, while U.S. equities reached 28.30%, above the 17.50% target. Economist Dr. Marlene Atz says Budget 2027 will be the key opportunity for the government to fully disclose how the borrowed funds and withdrawals from the HSF are being used. And the opening date for the new airport terminal in Tobago has been set, but the government isn't saying when just yet. Minister of Civil Aviation and Transport Eli Zakur confirmed the date has been identified after touring the facility on Saturday with Airports Authority Chairman Aaron Henry and other officials. However, Zakur told CNC3 News the date will be announced at the appropriate time. He added the priority is ensuring all operational readiness requirements are completed before the terminal opens to the public. Work continues at the facility with the Division of Public Infrastructure installing fencing at the airport's car park. Although welcoming the development, Blue Waters Inn manager Reginald McLean told CNC3 News the opening date should have been revealed by now. Well, stay tuned for another news update at the top of the hour and for comprehensive coverage in our midday news and major newscast at 7 p.m. on CNC3.
Do you think all dishwashing soaps are the same? With some, they require more effort, and they don't wash as much. Try Dawn and discover its grease cleaning power. Dawn removes stuff grease easier and faster than others. Additionally, it foam lasts 50% more. With Dawn, you use less product to clean more dishes and save with every wash. Dawn, triple grease cleaning power.
KC Ginger Mint, your trusted and natural wellness. Now with healthier options. KC Ginger Mint with honey and lime. KC Ginger Mint with orange and KC Ginger Mint with lemon. KC Ginger, honey, lemon, lime, and orange. Natural and trusted for generations for soothing sore throats and digestion and boost immunity. Get your new KC Candy Ginger Mint extended range today and breathe naturally.
Is mealtime more of a chore than a cherished time? Does a lack of appetite keep your family, young and old, from getting the nourishment they need? Introducing Apetamin, the gentle, effective appetite stimulant designed for every age. Apetamin helps spark the natural desire to eat, turning hesitant nibbles into satisfying meals. Watch as food becomes exciting again, fueling growth, energy, and shared moments around the table. Give your body the gift of a joyful appetite. Find Apetamin in pharmacies nationwide.
Welcome back. It's the second hour on this Monday morning. Let's open the lines, give you a chance to chime in. I had a nice, I would say, vibrant discussion with Indira Rampasad, political scientist, and also UE lecturer inside the first hour. So if you want to chime in, feel free. I mean, obviously, lots to discuss, lots in the public domain, and we want to start things off with Pleasantville. Good morning, Pleasantville. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Good morning, Jason.
Welcome, welcome, my brother. Go right ahead.
Yeah, thanks, man. See, I beat certain people to the punch this morning, boy.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
You know, there's you know, everyone has an opinion, Jason, and the reason why we are here sometimes it's we chances are that we will hear an opinion that differs from ours.
Yes, of course.
And, you know, I'm not here to bash anybody or call any names, but, you know, there are a lot of people out there who really have making the most contribution, being the most vocal, are really making the worst contributions. And sometimes it's better if you have nothing to offer your absence. Jason, this matter with the, there are so many things happening right now, Jason, and so many people that we are listening to. It's very confusing to the population. What we are seeing is, to me, it's a distraction of what's really affecting us. Jason, I'm seeing this signing of this MOU with the government and this American company, Pinnacle, that doesn't have a track record in the United States for what they intend to do here, and vanadium or whatever it is they're trying to produce here. There's one company in the U.S. right now that's doing that. There's none in Canada. The rest is in China and Russia and these places. That is a danger to our environment. We know of. We knew about the smelter plant that nobody wanted. This matter will demand from us a lot of natural gas that we simply don't have right now. We see companies are leaving because of that shortage of natural gas, whether it is a shortage or whether a lack of what do you call it, contract, stuff like that. But Jason, this to me, it's another way that the Prime Minister and her government is trying to attempt to get the U.S. involved in what's happening with her relationship with Venezuela, because we don't have gas, and our future gas is tied to Venezuela, and she is persona non grata. So I believe that she believes that Mr. Trump and his bullying style will somehow get Venezuela to circumvent what's happening and give us gas.
Thank you, Pleasantville.
I think that is exactly what we are seeing right now. And before I go, Jason, this withdrawal from the HSF fund, it is this exact figure that $10.8 million US is equivalent to 3.4 billion TT dollars. It's the same figure that HTC contract was cancelled for, that the government could not explain to the procurement, and they had to cancel it. It is the same figure. So people have got to pick sense from nonsense. Thank you, Jason.
All right, Pleasantville. Thanks for checking in. Feel free. It's Monday. People want to share with us and chime in. We had to Shagonas. Good morning.
Yeah, pleasant good morning to you, Jason.
Morning, Shagonas. Go right ahead.
All right. Well, if the last caller, right, I don't know what he was speaking about directly concerning the government, right, where he getting his information from, right? But if he doesn't like what is going on in the country, I think you should tell him where Piaco is, Jason. I mean, you should tell him where Piaco is.
You want to tell somebody that bad, eh? Are they all bust the argument? Are they all bust it? I'll bust it for you.
Yeah. If I don't like what's going on in the country, I know where Piaco is. Because I remember this time,
right by the light right by back one thing, and you make a right. And go.
Right, exactly.
Yes, right.
I remember you used to tell people that under the PNM leadership now, right? So I haven't heard that as yet from you.
It's true. No problem.
Anyway, Jason, here's what, first of all, I would like to say that what the government is doing with this whole fiasco with the Balize, right? It is now coming out in the light, right? It is now coming out in the light, and I think that everything that needs to come out will come out, right? Because I tell you this, right, Jason, like I was saying last week to you, 16 out of 64 is 25%. And it's only 16 years out of the 64 since we've been independent that the PNM has not ruled this country, right? So I think all the flaws and everything that needs to be taken into consideration, you cannot build Rome in a day, so you cannot fix all that has gone bad in the prior 9.5 years to the election last year, right? You cannot fix everything in 1 year and 2 years. And a lot of people coming forward, Jason, and saying that they promised this and they promised, oh gosh, please have a heart and get a brain now. Come on now, man. It's 5 years the government is here for. Not even 1/3 of the time has passed yet. All you want everything today. All you was saying that under the PNM. All you was so vocal under the PNM. All you want 1/3. All you want 2/3 and half and quarterly appraisals and all kind of thing. All you had that under the PNM. Come on now, man. All you take all your mind out of that. All you take all your mind out of that and become more free. Yep. Jason, what I have to say this morning is that apart from what I said there, right? Trinidad is Monday morning. I know that the weekend would have been a little bit tough for some people, but let me get up and do what we have to do. God will help us, but let us get up and do what it is we have to do. Have a good day, Jason.
All the best, Shagonas. All the best. I'm seeing UTT makes history and the cultural studies, well, a course on history and culture compulsory. Right, compulsory. This is for all the new students coming in, and I think in that regard, UTT, I want to say congratulations. This is tremendous, knowing that the students going in will have to, this compulsory, you must know about your country, the history of Trinidad and Tobago, and also some culture information is coming to you. Well done. Sheldon Lane, good morning.
Good morning, Jason Williams. How are you?
All is well. Go right ahead.
But you know I'm a motivational speaker, and I will always seek to lighten up the atmosphere, lighten up whatever I do, because I believe in that everything what we do is positive. And we need to be positive, because if we have to make any improvement within our life, we have to look at things in a positive dimension. With that being said, we are off from school. Our children are off from school, and I want to say next term is a new term, and try to, during this period of time, reflect on where you want to go, because once you know where you want to go, you can move forward. But if you don't know where you want to go, you can't move forward. And I will always be mindful to see education is very serious, and we should always take our education serious. With that being said, Jason, I know the topic is very heavy. I'm going to be a heavy person to go on a heavy topic. All I can say, we need to work together. If you have to make any improvement within this country, we can't be fighting each other. We have to work as a team, and teamwork get the work done. If we have to move a mountain, all of us have to come together and move that mountain. So if we're having bad energy within our country, we have to come together to fix it. And that's the only way we can get the job done. And thank you. I'm Jason Williams.
All the best. All the best. Sheldon, they're calling from, I believe, Freeport Central. Final call. We had Rima. You're live. Welcome.
Hi, good morning, Jason. Blessed morning to you and to the morning Brew crew.
Blessed morning.
I am just calling to say it would be nice to get some political analysts that are not so biased. You can hear it in the way they try to fudge their way out of these questions and the answers. And for that gentleman that always calls, he is so biased. It's so sad. Anyways, I'm going to stop right here.
All right, Tarima. I mean, listen, everybody, I guess through their lens, and especially with the political scientists, because I guess the goal and function is to look at everything objectively. But I know sometimes the commentary or the way the answer or the feedback comes across, people might want to send that particular, level that particular judgment then, bias. But then again, I mean, I can't get in somebody's mind. People are entitled to answer and to give their opinion. I just ask the questions and I say it as I see it, When I made that statement about government and TTPS being aligned, might not have hard facts. I sit here on a couch just like everybody else in the country, just looking at what's happening, and if something is in your face, why it is we trying to act like we're not seeing what we're seeing and experiencing what we experience. And we live in a time now where the lies have almost become the truth. And when we see the truth, it's almost like we're questioning, well, is that really what was happening? And nah, you can't pull no wool over my eye. I see what I see just like everybody else, and I call it as I see it. Call it as you see it. Where there's smoke, usually there's fire. And what we're seeing here is nothing new. We have seen it in other jurisdictions, and we have seen it right here at home before. So, interesting times. Thanks to all the calls. Let's head to our next discussion with Professor Roger Hussein. We're treating with the Data Pack report. Full details after the break.
Advance your career and increase your earning potential with the University of Bedfordshire's MBA program at CTS College. This UK-accredited MBA is globally and ACTT recognized and is the most affordable in Trinidad and Tobago. With 6 intakes per year and the option to study 1 unit at a time, you can complete the general MBA or one of 6 specializations in 12 months. And with flexible entry requirements and payment options, students with various backgrounds can enroll. Contact CTS College today and find out how you can get $12,000 off.
Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in Trinidad and Tobago, driven by 2 silent threats, diabetes and high cholesterol. But now there's a powerful ally, introducing Berberine Plus by Asia Nutrition, clinically proven to stabilize blood sugar and keep cholesterol levels in check. With 99.9% pure extract, you get superior absorption and real results. Available now at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus, your heart deserves better.
We are deep into stoppage time, all. They must be careful here. Oh, no! But hang on. They are checking it. It's going to be in the hands of the VAR. This is unbearable. The goal has been reversed. They have felt everything it is possible to feel.
Professor Roger Hussein joins me on the Zoom line this morning to treat with, the movement of the money, some developments coming to hand. He's a man that he follows the numbers. We treat with the numbers, and the numbers are suggesting here, Professor, that Trinidad and Tobago's fiscal position strengthened during the first 7 months of 2026. I'd love for you to elaborate and give us some more details. As always, Professor, welcome.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Now, bear in mind, it's just a very short time period. So in that short time period, what the data is in fact saying is that there was a small improvement in the fiscal position, the fiscal deficit position. And And that's partly because total expenditure fell a little. But there are some other things that the data is saying. I mean, it's such a short time period that we shouldn't really, read too much into it, except that some small changes have been made.
Would you say the collections from non-energy entities, the non-energy sources, would have helped in a major way?
There would have been a combination of things. Total expenditure would have fallen, non-energy expenditure would have, non-energy revenues would have improved. So a number of changes all at once. But I sent you 3 graphs via Nikisha, and there are 3 changes that the central bank also showed in their data that I think we must pay attention to. If we could post the graph, one of the graphs you would see.
Yeah, what we're seeing on screen. Explain to us what we're seeing here.
On interest payments. So if you all have seen the one on interest payments, you would see that interest payments increased, which is not good. What I'm saying is that, you want to manage your economy in a manner and form in which your interest payments are fairly low, and that you don't have to pay out money that you would use for education and healthcare. So that's something you have to keep your eye on, that growth in interest payments. Then you will see that transfers and subsidies increased in another graph that I sent. So transfers and subsidies increasing is exactly the opposite of where this country wants to be going. You don't want your transfers and subsidies to be increasing because it's already ridiculously high. And so you have to manage that increase in transfers and subsidies downwards, not upwards. And I hope policymakers are paying particular attention to that. This economy is not in a position where we can support elevated transfers and subsidies. So more attention has to be paid for that, because the third variable, and in the third graph that was affected by perhaps these first 2, is capital injections. You want, when your economy is stagnant and in a battered state like we are, that you have more capital injections into the economy, widening productive capacity, opening up more roads, opening up more bridges, getting more non-energy export related infrastructure in the ground, so that you can generate more economic activity and more non-energy exports. That's not what we are seeing here. And so, yes, you have a marginal improvement in the fiscal position, but these 3 variables are moving in the wrong direction. I'm sure the policymakers are aware. It's a small time period, so I'm not going to, I don't think people should rush out in the street crying, but there is more work to be done as we progress into the next few years.
I really want to get a perspective from you first. Obviously, with this AI data center plan, is that kind of development, that kind of injection, that potential, going to bring any major improvements? Would it help offset any of the cost? Because I know you look at the data, you look at the numbers. What does that do for a society, for a country, when you compare it to other jurisdictions putting an AI data center?
Yeah, well, it's welcome in the sense that once it brings in foreign exchange for construction and for running the facility, if the output from the center helps to generate foreign exchange, that is useful. And if it generates jobs, that would be useful. Because we are at a fragile state in this economy where any non-energy export related activity that generates foreign exchange, not activity that uses foreign exchange, any non-energy export activity that generates foreign exchange is a welcome intervention and a welcome injection. And I see the 3 MOUs as steps in the right direction. We are a long way off, of course, from opening, but there are steps in the right direction. And so, well, we take it if it comes, and we see how it goes. But it's like passing the ball from the keeper to the last stopper. It's very early days here.
Okay, understood. I'm seeing that the Ministry of Finance would have announced that the government was successful in raising a $800 million sovereign bond in the U.S. market. For those looking on, for the layman, could you elaborate as to that development, if that's something to celebrate, or if it's a cause for concern? If you could just dig a little deeper for us.
Well, You know, 6 of one and a half a dozen of the other. It's money the government needs to get money to do various things. It goes on the international market. It gets this money. It will increase the reserves, but it would also increase the stock of external debt. And so, you know, it would help probably roll over some payment that is necessary in US dollars. All of those things, we you know, it's necessary, possibly necessary intervention at this point. The real challenge is to grow the economy as you go forward so you can repay this debt. The real challenge is to ensure that Kamamaraja's US $5 billion non-energy export target remains on the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth of the front burners, so that it is the ultimate target of this country alongside the focus of the Ministry of Energy. So that US 800, I think 800 or 850 million is the type of intervention that you need to make when you need bridging finance and rollover money and whatnot, no problem. But it buys us more time, and to repay interest on that money, we need to get the non-energy export sector growing and glowing.
Understood. How much external factors, or do external factors play in how we forecast ourselves? Because anyone in the U.S. could tell you right now, in Canada and these places, things are getting even expensive there. Cost of living, rent, everything is going up, and we always look towards these places as almost like a benchmark. The geopolitics of the day, what's happening close to us in North America, even across in the Middle East, with this conflict back up and running with Iran and the U.S., how much of that plays into how we forecast and map out our financial future?
Well, significantly, I mean, we have a small island economy with 1.5 million people, a drop in the ocean, a nano state. And so whatever happens in the external economy ripples into and throughout the Trinidad and Tobago economy in a varied number of forms. For example, remittances from the US and Canada could be affected if their cost of living goes up. If the price of oil spikes and gas spikes because of the fighting with the Strait of Hormuz, you know, that could favorably affect the economy on the one hand in terms of energy revenues, but we import almost everything else we need, so it would affect the cost of living. All of those things we know, all of those things we understand well. Given those things, where the hard work really lies, and that's why it was very brave and bold of the Ministry of Energy to push this US $5 billion non-energy export target out there, and we must encourage them to go after it. If that target is met, if they meet $2 billion US by 2030, they would have helped save this economy. What we don't want is 2025 decline. So we have started off on a bad foot towards this 2030 US $5 billion target. What we don't want it to be is the same at the end of 2030 or to fall. But if we can get $2 billion more in non-energy export revenues by 2030, that is sustainable. That's a monumental improvement, a significant improvement, but we have to put in the groundwork. Where's the groundwork for the tourism sector? Are you seeing cruise ship announcement, cruise ship plans? Are you seeing sharp changes being made in the overnight visitor sector? Are you seeing announcement about the specialized economic zones and the e-tech park and how we are going to get these things up and running? Are you seeing more fluidity between the lending policy of the commercial banks and the non-energy export sector? I'm not seeing those things as I would like to see. So there is more work to be done. Without doubt, there is more work to be done if we are to reduce our dependence on the energy sector and to generate more sustainability and stability from the non-energy export sector. There's a lot of more work to be done as we push forward.
And as always, we enjoy our conversation with you because you lead us in the right direction. You show us the data and the numbers don't lie. And I guess whenever we touch base again, keep us in the loop as to how things are looking. But you said it's a small win, but it's still a win. A win is a win at this point in time. All the best.
I hope that happens Wednesday as well when Argentina playing that.
I wonder who your money's on.
I am for the days of Diego Maradona. Argentina, yes.
Yes. All right.
Thank you for the time.
All right, Professor. He joins in there with Nakisha, another Argentine. We have at least, how much Argentines in the building? I know Nakisha is one for sure. Ian Wilson, yes, Ian Wilson, yes, he's also a big supporter of Argentina. Big game, the repeat of the 1986 semi-finals. That game going back and all that. That's game going to have some controversy. I don't see it already. Anyway, thank you so much, Professor Hussein. Let's check in next. African Emancipation Day. Ivan Wickham, founder of the Panel of African Liberation, steps in for the launch of the organization.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Meet baby Max and his friends. Growing up strong means getting the right nutrients. That's where Astamin C comes in, packed with essential amino acids and vitamin C to support healthy growth, brain development, strong bones and muscles, better immunity, and appetite in picky eaters. Just 7 drops a day in milk, juice, or directly by mouth. Simple, effective, and nutrient-rich. Give your little one the boost they need to thrive. Astamin C, healthy growth made easy. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Textbooks, screens, late nights. Your eyes work hard through every class, exam, project, and deadline. Ferrara Optical has eyewear specifically designed to reduce eye strain so nothing holds your learning back. For a limited time, youth get a free frame with lenses from just $495. Scholars get frame and lenses starting at only $750. And lifelong learners save up to 30% off your purchase of advanced lenses like Eisen and transitions. Less strain, more focus. Your vision without limits. Visit Ferrara Optical in store today. This promotion is NLCB approved.
Tune in to Betterments with host Space, Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. for a program that educates and is solution-based. Space tackles the issues that matter to you, providing a platform to speak your mind and find solutions. That's Betterments with Base, with a focus on education and resolution. This is all about making things better for you. So if you want to make a difference and have your voice heard, tune into Freedom 106.5 FM and join us for Betterments with Base, Monday through Thursday from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Better for you. Only on Freedom 106.5 FM, where we believe that your voice matters.
Name something people stick their noses into.
I'm going to say into the oven.
This game is going to hell. Stick your nose in the oven.
Well, let me welcome welcome to distinguished gentlemen here on set. We are treating this morning with the panel of African Liberation, and their founder, Ivan Wickham, is here with me. This organization came into being 2026 last year, but I know it would have been part of a thought process way before the actual coming together of yourself and people like Kern Solomon, who's also here with us. He's the PRO. You know, Kern and Ivan, let me just say congrats in advance. This particular ethos and your momentum, look, what I'm going through, what the organization stands for: education, cultural preservation, historical awareness, and remembrance are very important tenets as it relates to the lived reality of the Afro-Trinbagonian.
That's right.
Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Yes, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
For sure. Ivan, let me just ask, as it relates to the coming together, it's yourself and I believe about 15 others.
That's correct.
Decided to make this happen. Why last year? Why now? Why bring this into the fold?
Well, basically, I've been into culture most of my life, and in attending the Emancipation Day celebration, we realized that there was a need for the reawakening of culture preservation because of the fact that when we look around, it wasn't the numbering wasn't as much as it was in the years prior, and so that kind of jolted us into wanting to make it a little bit more, you know, as how it used to be in the past. So what happened was myself and Mr. Solomon and 15 others decided, here we're going on, we want to join in and participate with the Emancipation Support Committee to host this nesting event on the 1st of August.
Excellent. You know, Kern, I want you to explain some more as to what the experience is going to be on the 1st, just full details as to that particular development, and even more so what I'm seeing here, which is happening literally, well, if I'm not mistaken, this Friday?
Yes.
This is on the Friday, the 17th.
On the 17th, yes. We are having a launch of the program. You know, as in anything, we want to be able to shoot out and let the people know what we are about, launch the organization to get persons all and sundry, Trinidad and Tobago, to be part and parcel of this program and tell them, here what, on the 1st of August, we are going to do something magnificent. One of the elements that we want to incorporate is a particular fraternity who has been in the African, more or less African-centric over the years, and that's the Baptist community. We want to bring out the Baptist community to be part and parcel of the Emancipation Program. So in the launch that we are having on the 17th, we are also going to incorporate what we know as the open air. And traditionally that open air, you know, sometimes you may pass on the street corner and you may see the Baptist with the bell calling people to something is happening in Trinidad and Tobago, either warning persons of some impending doom. But on the 17th, we want to have an open year, doing the same thing, but just for a different purpose, but to create the awakening that we are looking at.
Give me the time frame and the location for this Friday, and then we'll treat with the 1st.
Okay. Well, at 5:30, we want to start the launch of the program. That would start the official part of the program, where we have invited the mayor, the councillor. We wanted to get the Emancipation Support Committee, Ms. Wadada, and we also have invited persons from the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and we have sent out many different invitations to get persons to be part of that particular program. After that program has completed, we want to move right into the open air aspect, where we have, you know, the Baptist fraternity, and we also have the IFA community coming to be part and parcel of that, and, you know, to carry out some positive vibration on the promenade.
And we have, of course, all the information there via the flyer. Let's put it up one more time. I will let Ivan step in as we look again on what's happening. Brian Lara Promenade, Friday, 5:30 p.m. in the heart of the city, around, I would say, a rush hour, a major moving people, foot traffic. So you're going to see the action, so you're going to understand what's happening. But on the 1st, though, I guess all this is done to really bring that, the awareness, bring back the actual people being there, that massive coming together. Walk me through, if you'll be positioned there, a particular booth, a tent, what's happening on the 1st as it relates to the panel of African liberation in terms of your presence on the 1st itself?
So what will be happening on the 1st is basically we'll be gathering in the vicinity of the Unit Trust Corporation at the end of the Brian Lara Promenade.
Excellent.
We'll call a team of vibrational colors are red, yellow, and green. You know, you don't have to be hardcore red, yellow, and green, but you know, you'll have little things of it if you desire. But you will be showcasing a lot of talent, some costuming, some math, some spoken word, and we will have our own entertainment. All of the Emancipation Support Committee has their entertainment and their trucks. We will have our own personal entertainment trucks and some
moving in the parade.
That's correct. We'll have live drumming along the parade route, and we'll also be playing special homage to persons of the past, our elders who have passed on and gone on from works to rewards. So along the parade route, we'll be paying pouring libations and acknowledging the works and the foundations that they have laid for us to be here today.
You know, Kern, and by all means, Ivan, the ancestors, I know it's very, that conversation and that movement and momentum is very powerful within the African experience, paying homage, recognizing the work done by the elders. I'm happy to hear that, you know, that's part of the program. Beyond emancipation, what else is some of the major work being done, or some of the plans for work to be done under the umbrella of the PAL?
Well, you have seen many times within the Trinidad and Tobago as a whole, there has been many cries with the crime, and somehow when we look at it, it would seem that, you know, that the young black youth is spearheading that negative part of Trinidad and Tobago. What we hope to do is educate persons of their history, and just as we were saying before we came live, you know, teach them that there is an history that went before them, you know, the Mansa Musa. We want to talk about Kwame Ture Marcus, Garvey Martin Luther King, and, you know, Steve Biko Sankara. All these different persons who would have been part of the struggle in order for them to be around today. This feeling of being proud of something, therefore, removes from us the element of nothingness, because there are many young people that are walking around Trinidad and Tobago saying, you know, I am nobody. And when we inject information, what information does, it transforms human beings, because what we know we can no longer say we don't know now. So we now have to operate from a place of knowledge. And that is what we hope to do as an organization, to inject information through education to the persons. And also, as my brother just said, we want to inject culture also, because culture will also brings purpose. And tradition, as we think about tradition, many times we think about tradition as something past, but tradition really and truly is a handing on and a moving forward. So we want to give them also some tradition, that when we say the point of the libation, and we want to give them tradition in the form of the drumming and different elements that they will say, you know what, I feel a bit more whole than walking around with my head down saying, you know, I am a nobody, I have no history, I have nothing to live for. Because there is that level of you know, self-annihilation amongst the young people, and we hope to give them hope. We hope to give them some empowerment, and we hope to do all that through education.
And as you rightfully said, purpose through the culture, through the education, through the important conversations. As we wrap things up, Ivan, how can folks contact you, contact the PAL, just get general information and keep in touch, because you've inspired them this morning?
Well, there are the social media platforms. We are at the Panel of African Liberation on Instagram, all joined together. We are on Facebook, we are on TikTok, and you can contact me at 796-0790, and that's the way, the mediums that you could use to contact us.
Ivan Wickham, Kern Solomon. Gentlemen, please, after emancipation, let's keep the conversation going. Let me know how the activation went, and I know it's going to be tremendous. Based on what you've explained to me, you're just going to add so much more value to what already is in place.
Correct.
Come Emancipation Day on the 1st. Gentlemen, thanks a lot, and all the best to the PAL.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having us.
Most welcome. With that, we get ready to head across to Japan for a poet who's going to share with us. You know, let me tell you, we love poetry here, and I look forward to the work of Emiko, and I will wait for Emiko to tell me the pronunciation of the last name. I don't want to butcher it, but poet Emiko joins me next.
to Jimmy Boo Super Serious July Sale for seriously supersized saving. Get the year's biggest savings yet on textile, curtains, home goods, and much more. Seriously, shop the Super Serious July Sale today at Jimmy Boo in Barataria and Port of Spain.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800 Trin or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800 Trin or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
In the ever-changing media landscape, we at Guardian Media strive always to put you, our viewers and readers first.
We strive to uphold the time-honored tenets of responsible journalism.
For us, accuracy is key.
And in our reporting, we strive not only to be first, but fair,
impartial,
and to uphold journalistic integrity.
Above all, we are accountable to you, and we must respect the views of our audience. That is our solemn contract with you.
Keen attention to detail.
Rigorous verification of facts.
Keep track of our editorial policies and guidelines, including our corrections policy, by logging on to www.guardian.co.tt for more.
So the younger one complaining that the older one is the favorite one. That is pressure. Always aim to treat your children fairly and impartially and do it consistently. Each child is different and will not learn or understand the same way. Take your time in tense situations to control your emotions and reactions and be mindful of any potential favoritism. Favoritism can lead to resentment and jealousy. At the end of the day, do your best. Share if you found this useful. Like and follow CTA's profiles for more parenting tips. The letter of the day is J. Just.
Downy Unstoppables are laundry scent boosters. Add a capful before each wash and you'll be amazed. The blast of freshness that lasts and lasts. Whoa, what a blast! Even at the end of the day, you'll still be enjoying that blast of freshness in your clothes. Downy Unstoppables, the blast of freshness that lasts and lasts.
The Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ, teaching the truth about God's people, God's plans, and the secrets of God, all written within the pages of the Holy Bible, which is the Word of God. Watch The Hidden Truth every Thursday at 5:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. on CNC3.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too. This is the mix. This is the life. Lock on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
Slam 100.5 FM and Amplia are bringing football fans together for the ultimate Friday football rhyme. Get ready for Amplia Front Row Fridays. Your front row seat to every match, every moment, every Friday. From June 26th to July 19th, the Slam crew hits different sports bar and football hotspots across Trinidad with live broadcasts, football trivia, crowd challenges, predictions, giveaways, DJs, vibes, and level football energy. Catch the Slam announcers broadcasting live from 7 to 9 p.m. every Friday. Check out the Amplia promo girls and giveaways on location, interactive games, fan moments, and non-stop excitement. Front Row Fridays, powered by Amplia and Slam 100.5 FM, progressive and unstoppable.
Every case has a story. Every clue reveals a new mystery. This July, Suspects returns with 2 thrilling seasons back-to-back.
packed with shocking twists, intense investigations, and suspense at every turn. Don't miss the Season 2 premiere of Suspects, Wednesday, July 15th, only on CNC3. Your place for the drama and suspense we love.
Parents will do it, they'll go to work, have a day, bro, and come on and take that stress out on you.
Welcome to another episode of Manhood.
Everybody will do what they need to do to get what they want.
And if they can't fit in to the norms, then what they have to do, they have to survive. You know?
Not everybody wants to kill me because I might be all kind of thing, but I think I'm a good person.
The aspect of a mentor seeing something in you that you can't see in yourself.
Check yourself, because you shaped that generation.
Are we losing in many ways the values?
Since I have this Parkinson's diagnosis, there's a group, a very small type group, who will always look after me.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
I have the distinct pleasure of sharing the morning with a Japanese haiku poet. There's a matter of fact, a great workshop that happened yesterday at UE. So for the UE folks, they're very familiar with Emiko and what transpired yesterday, and we are happy to have her on set on this Monday morning. Emiko, konnichiwa. Yes, great to have you. Always a pleasure to have our friends from Japan. I want to ask you firstly, Emiko, what is haiku?
Haiku is a breath-long poetry form in Japan. It's short, but it dates back to centuries and centuries and centuries ago.
So this is a real Japanese culture and tradition.
Yes.
Fantastic. Is this your first visit to Trinidad?
Yes. But I would like to tell this little story. Back in 1964, when Japan hosted the first Tokyo Olympic Games, I was the fourth grader of the local elementary school in Fukushima Prefecture. And my teacher said, why don't we have our mini Olympic game within the class? And so there were 8 groups in the class, and each of us could name ourselves, represent some country. One said America, of course, some said German, some said Switzerland. And our group look into the map at us, and we wanted something special. And we found out something like Trinidad and Tobago. And the sound sounded so, magical. It sounded like abracadabra. And so that was the first time I encountered Trinidad and Tobago, and we were the representatives of the Trinidad and Tobago for that mini Olympic game 62 years ago.
The power of sport, and sport really gives people a chance to travel and understand beyond their border and shores. That's amazing. And now you're in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, so this is a miracle, and I think this is the reason why I'm here.
Full circle moment. Before we get into the actual poetry today, just your impressions of the island so far, just the sights, the sound, the cuisine, the food. You've had a chance to
Yes,
Enjoy it?
try doubles.
Oh, nice.
Cow heel soup.
Cow heel. You had to get a little full angle. Cow heel. You had to show them cow heel.
Cow heel.
I like that. Next time I ask, look, I want some cow heel soup. I'm going to put in the action. I love it. Excellent. So you're here. You're enjoying it and you're having a time.
Yes.
I want to give you a chance to share with us your work, and then we'll come back and find ways to obviously keep in touch, and you could guide us to where we could explore and enjoy more of the haiku poetry. So, Emiko,
yes,
the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you.
Take us out. Take it away.
Take it away. ちょっと待ってください. I'd like to read some poem, a haiku that I tried. These are not refined yet, but these are the haiku that I made from my days here. From an iron cage, steaming soup of cow heel, and the laughter. From an iron cage, steaming soup of cow heel, and the laughter. Rainy season, my determination to see the canopus. Rainy season, my determination to see the canopus. Trinidad and Tobago is close to the equator, so I was looking for the star, but at the rainy season. Yes. So I assumed one star is a canopus. Okay, Pebble Beach, a column of ants wearing tiny drift flowers. Pebble Beach, a column of ants wearing tiny drift flowers. This was at the army base, near the army base. There's and here's through the no. The next one goes. The blooming flamboyant tree, like Gilina stretching her arms. My fourth day in port of Spain. Gilina Corks is a haiku poet here in Trinidad and Tobago, and she's been writing for like 25 years in the internet. And so we met yesterday. And so the blooming flamboyant tree, like Gilina stretching her arms, my fourth day in port of Spain. And this dress is the flamboyant flower color that I chose for today in honor, respect to this country and the flowers. And through the barred window, paper-wrapped doubles, sniffing first. Through the barred window, paper-wrapped doubles, sniffing first. That was my first time to taste the doubles in a paper with fingers. I didn't know how to eat it, so just and it was really good. Okay, I think that's all from my little notebook.
Excellent. I mean, let me tell you. So more or less, you are writing about your lived reality, your experience.
Yes.
And that is more or less the inspiration for a haiku poet.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to find out, like, really your inspiration. Where you get your inspiration from to write?
From our five senses. Because haiku is a way of life. Mm-hmm. If your life is rich, your haiku will be rich. Mm-hmm. If you write haiku with your brain, it will be very artificial, and it will be shallow anyway, because nature is more deeper.
Understood. Where can we go to enjoy more haiku poetry? Is it readily available on YouTube, on the internet? If you type in haiku poetry, it will come up?
Yeah, thousands of millions. Mm-hmm. Because haiku is originated in Japan, but actually nowadays, because of the aging problem, haiku poets, the Japanese proper haiku poets are shrinking.
Yeah. Oh.
But on the contrary, the international haiku poets are thriving.
Yes.
Even here in this port of Spain, we have Gilina Corks, who's been writing for more than 25 years.
Amazing.
And she's a well-known haiku poet. She said she was doing a haiku workshop for the kids in the library, but somehow the administration has cut her program. And I hope that the librarian, administrator, if you hear me, please open that workshop again.
You know, I'm so happy, you know, this cultural exchange that's been organic between Trinidad and Tobago and Japan, it's been going on for decades. Our appreciation for Japanese culture and lifestyle and cuisine, the Japanese appreciation for our music, our steel pan, our culture. I've been able to make really amazing friends from Japan through the culture. And it's an exchange that continues to grow, and I'm really happy to have you here, Miko. Any closing words anybody want to send some love to in the seconds that remain?
Yes. I'm sure the haiku will thrive on this land because this land is full of, you know, beautiful spirits.
Yes.
Yes. So please make sure that it will thrive.
It will. It will. And to the entire team here with you, great to see you guys as always. Much love from Trinidad and Tobago to Japan. On this Monday, we're going to close things off with a quick reminder to all the motorists. We say safe travel on the gravel. It is raining outside, lots of rain. We had this yellow alert from since yesterday. It might fall into even today. It's going to be a very wet July from what we understand, so be very careful on the black carpet. Pace yourself, and God spare. I'm back for more tomorrow. Until then, have a safe and enjoyable, well, it's going to be a wet Monday, but still have a safe and enjoyable one TNT. All the best. See you tomorrow.